Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 200. I have been making the news show every Sunday now for 4 years straight. Hi. Welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 22. Thank you so much for all your support through the last 4 years. Best in Tesla would be nothing without you guys watching. And thanks to all my supporters from Patreons and members and executive producers, a donation and buying merch through so many years. Thank you so much for keeping Best in Tesla alive. But enough of that. The show must go on, so let's take another 200 news episode. And in today's news episode, we got some discussions about the Cybertruck and whether it can come to Europe. And Sandy Munro got his interview with Elon, where he talks about the Cybertruck and more, and Volkswagen halts more production of their EV amid weak demand. And now the strike in Sweden against Tesla has spread to Denmark. And Tesla sends out the holiday package, and GM's crews must show up at a hearing for their misleading public comment. And Jim Farley confirms that he has received the memo from Tesla about the 48-volt architecture car. And despite Ford and GM's slowing down EV production, BEVs are setting new records in the US, as well as the Model Y. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So the automotive magazine here in Denmark called Bilmagasinet just made a big article saying the Cybertruck will never come to Denmark or Europe. Well, because as they say, it is simply too big and too heavy. Well, I don't personally think it's too big, as we do have the Ford F-150 here, and the Cybertruck is the same length and the same width, and the F-150 is actually a bit taller, so I don't really think that's a big issue. But if it becomes an issue, Tesla could just make a smaller version for Europe, just like GM did with the Hummer back in the days. The weight might be an issue today in some countries, as in the UK, they have already changed the law back in 2018, so the weight for the electric van went up from 3,500 kilos to 4,250 kilos. Furthermore, it says it will legislate to only allow zero-emission vehicles to access the license flexibility, and it will expand the flexibility to cover all vehicle types beyond good vans. So my understanding is that the Cybertruck's weight is already fine in the UK because it is electric. Just like we see with the semi-trucks, they also allow to have 2,000 kilos more weight as an internal combustion engine semi-truck. This change was part of the UK's broader strategy to encourage the adoption of cleaner and more environmental friendly vehicles by making it easier to use zero-emission vehicles for a wider range of purposes, including commercial transport. So if the commercial industry should ever fully adopt the electric vehicles, we need to make these changes as the UK has done already back in 2018. So I do believe this will happen for the rest of the EU as well, and we do know that Tesla is working relentless on getting the Cybertruck to Europe, as Brian from My Tesla Weekend shared in his video he did with Jan from Tesla Fix. So I have no doubt that when Tesla is ready to ship the Cybertruck to Europe in maybe 2 or 3 years, we will also have the higher weight allowance for electric commercial vehicles as well. Before we dive into more news topics, I got something exciting to share with you. If you also struggle to find time to sit down to read a whole book or looking for ways to absorb more knowledge on the go, well, I discovered an incredible app that has been a game changer for me, Blinkist. Blinkist is one of my longest running partnerships simply because I personally love the product they offer and have been using it long before they became a sponsor of this channel. Blinkist condensed the key insights from a top non-fiction book into these bite-sized summaries that you can listen to or read in just 15 minutes. Like getting all the knowledge from Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. A counterintuitive approach to living a good life. This is something everyone should learn to make sure you don't waste your time on things you don't even care about and take full responsibility for your life and focus on the things that gives you joy and live your life to the fullest. This is just one book of Blinkist's 6,600 non-fiction books in a very, very small package that you can get all the knowledge from when you're running or brewing a cup of coffee, waiting, or just taking a quick break. And there is a feature within Blinkist that calls Spaces that allows you to create a space with your friends and family where you can recommend titles to each other. All members of the shared space can access all titles in the space with or without Blinkist premium subscription. So that is exactly what I have done. Made a space called Best in Tesla Learning Space, and dozens of people have already joined my space. So come join all of us and start learning today and get a 7-day free trial, so nothing to lose here, and get 25% off Blinkist annual premium by using my promo link in the description or scan the QR code here on the screen and turn waiting time into learning time with Blinkist. And a big thanks to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. But back to the discussion about Cybertruck coming to Europe, because the most stupid thing in this article, and the reason I don't give it much credibility, as it really does sound like they do not know what they're talking about, is because they say that we can forget all about charging the Cybertruck in Europe, as the plug is different in the US. I mean, what the hell? It is exactly the same thing with the Model S that is built in the US, or the Model 3 when that was made in the US to be shipped to Europe as well. They just made a different version for the European market. So the same car, just with two different charging plugs. So why should this ever be a problem? I cannot see. And this is where this article falls apart from me, because this is simply just not true, that because they have a different plug in the US it cannot come to Europe. I mean, what a boneheaded argument. So I think the law will change for the weight, just like in the UK, and I don't think it's too big, as we have the F-150 here already, and that is actually bigger than the Tesla Cybertruck, since Tesla shrunk it by 5% from the prototype. And the plug is just an absolutely non-issue. And because Tesla is working hard to get it to Europe, I think this will happen, because if they need to make some small changes to the truck to get it approved, they can just do that, as so many other car companies has done through the years. And to the people that say the Cybertruck will never get approved because it's made of stainless steel and has sharp edges, well, Elon just wrote on X, yes, we are highly confident that the Cybertruck will be much safer per mile than other trucks, both for occupants and pedestrians. Yes, I do think Tesla have thought of all of this and is working hard, as we just learned, to get the Cybertruck to Europe and the rest of the world as well. And to the people that don't think there will ever be enough demand for the Cybertruck, well, remember, this is the most pre-ordered car in history. Even if we cut the orders in half, it will still be the most pre-ordered car in history, with more than double than the run-up that was the Model 3, with its 400,000 pre-orders, and the Model Y had even less pre-orders than that, and that has become the best-selling car in the world. And just look at this. The Cybertruck parked in the street gets more attention than Tom Cruise walking down the street. As Elon said, the demand for this truck is off the chart. And Sandy Munro got his interview with Elon Musk, where they talked about the Cybertruck and more. Sandy was blown away by the engineering of the Cybertruck, like we have seen someone like Jason from Haggerty be as well.
It's a hell of a car. It drives really well, the suspension is great, makes you wonder why steering wasn't always like this. It's smooth, it's fast as hell, it does everything well.
So the car expert of car experts' minds was blown. So never mind the haters and the Tesla Q. The car expert has spoken, and that is saying something. But another thing Sandy was able to confirm from Elon that we already knew from the book about Elon was that the next generation vehicle will first be built in Texas and then in Mexico afterward. Because as Elon said, it would take too long to do it in Mexico. So we kind of got another confirmation for the people that said the next generation vehicle would be delayed because Tesla's careful approach to building the Mexico factory. It will not be delayed. The production line is already being worked on in Texas, as we know from the book about Elon. And as Elon said, they are quite far in the process, and he reviews the production line plans every week.
We obviously are working on a low-cost electric vehicle that will be made in very high volume and quite far advanced in that work. I review the production line plans for that every week, and I think the revolution in manufacturing that will be represented by that car will blow people's minds. It is not like any car production line that anyone's ever seen. It's a level of production technology that is far in advance of any automotive plant on Earth.
So this is what I am the most excited about with the next-gen vehicle. I don't really care too much about the car itself. It's not going to have any halo effect as the Cybertruck. In that regard, it's going to be a little bit boring, but people will get their affordable, good EV. But the production method of this car is what I can't wait to see and learn more about. Because now the old guys are looking at the Cybertruck and saying, we can't do that. We don't even know how to do that. So now Tesla has moved the goalpost and said, let's get the whole industry to 48-volt architecture and steer-by-wire and some modern speed for their CAN system. And while the old guys are now scrambling to catch up with this technology of the Cybertruck, and that will take a couple of years, Tesla is going to come out with a completely new production system that is way above any production system on Earth. And Toyota is just now trying to copy Tesla's production method of yesterday and will not have anything ready before 3 to 4 years with that production method of giga casting, structural battery pack, and so on. So even before Toyota will have a copy of Tesla's old way of doing things out in the street, Tesla will come out with their next generation vehicle with a whole new way of producing a car all together. And someone like Toyota will stand there with their new way of doing things with a copy of Tesla's old production system and be completely left behind. So Toyota is probably thinking they're catching up now with this new production method, but as I have said many times before, if you're the one copying, you will never catch up, because as Elon says, the pace of innovation is all that matters, and Tesla's pace of innovation is just so fast that Toyota, which is known for their great production system, will be obsolete with their new way of doing things before they can even get it to market in a vehicle. Tesla's pace is just mind-boggling. And Tesla just reinvented the car with the Cybertruck, kind of embarrassing the old guy in the industry who thought they were catching up. But now Tesla come with a vehicle that has steer-by-wire, 48-volt architecture, can bus with insane speed, or actually not insane, but just compared to the old guys that are using 500 kilobit CAN speed. Tesla seems light years ahead with their 1 million kilobyte CAN speed, but Tesla is just taking modern technology and putting it into the car, where the old guys are using the same technology in their car they did 60 years ago. Kind of embarrassing. So no wonder that Jim Farley apparently has asked Sandy Munro, as Sandy said at the interview, if he got his hand on the Cybertruck, because Jim really wants to learn everything he can about this beast. Volkswagen halts ID3 and Cupra Born production amid weak demand. Volkswagen is temporarily holding the production of the ID3 and Cupra Born in its Zwickau and Dresden plant until the end of the year due to weak demand. This must hurt so bad when you know Tesla is expanding their Berlin factory as we speak. But this move follows a recent elimination of night shift for these models. In response to a sluggish demand and as part of an ongoing workforce reduction, approximately 500 temporary positions at the Zwickau location will be cut. The company's CEO Thomas Schäfer reportedly warned of a significant cutback to address issues such as workforce management. This decision comes as part of Volkswagen's broader strategy to adjust electric vehicle production capacity, with the ID.4 SUV production already scaled back in early June. And Volkswagen has also shared that they will cut back on R&D, as they, instead of investing 800 million euros in the new building to produce EVs, the company now wants to upgrade the existing building for 450 million euros, so saving 350 million. I think this is a huge mistake. I thought they have already learned that lesson with the Zwickau factory that cost Volkswagen about $1.3 billion just to retool to make EVs, and it took 26 months to retool it, and it will only be able to ever get to 330,000 units produced of max capacity, which stand in very big contrast to Tesla's first phase of the Berlin factory that will be able to produce 500,000 units, and Tesla built that factory faster than Volkswagen retooled the old one and is already at a run rate of 375,000 units, so more than Zwickau will ever do. So I think this is very wrong, cutting cost on the future of the company. This is where they are supposed to invest even more money, not be cutting back. But also the Volkswagen daughter company Skoda is closing 17% of their dealerships in Germany. That's 90 locations they will shut down. The head of Skoda Germany said the German passenger car market is unlikely to reach the high level of 2019. Yes, exactly, that is what we have been saying for years. The ICE market will never get back to pre-pandemic level. They will only go down from here on out, as BEVs are taken over. But now even Skoda is acknowledging that they will never get back to the level of 2019. But as we have seen with both Volkswagen, Ford and GM pulling back on their EV targets, they are really standing at a crossroad, because if they want to be part of the future car market of BEVs and don't want to lose too much market share, they can't just scale back and wait for the situation to become better, because Tesla and the Chinese are not pulling back. So they will just increase their already big lead. So the situation is not easy for the legacy automakers, and that is probably why we see them now fighting back for their survival. Stellantis CEO Tavares advocated for more ICE cars. This is nothing new. Tavares has done this many times before, making all kind of claims about EVs. This time Tavares said, on one hand, the profitability must be maintained, while on the other hand, affordable electric cars must be offered despite higher development and production cost, and this dilemma could end badly for car manufacturers. Yes, it could and probably will, as you are not willing to do what is needed. Making more ICE cars is not the solution. ICE cars are the problem we are trying to correct. And remember, Tesla did go through a whole decade burning through cash and billions of dollars to get where they are today, making EVs with a profit. So I just don't think there is any way around this than ramping up EVs as fast as possible and losing a lot of money doing so, but will come out on the other side as part of the new vehicle market of 100% BEVs. But slowing down now would be a crucial mistake in my opinion. I know some media are talking about slowdown of demand for EVs, but that is only for legacies BEVs that are not competitive. Tesla is not slowing down, neither are the Chinese. So if you slow down now, I think Tesla and the Chinese will gladly take that 40% growth in BEVs the industry association ACEA predicts we will see in 2024. But we should expect more like this from the legacy automakers in the near future, fighting back and fighting for their survival and spreading FUD about the electric vehicle. And now the strike in Sweden against Tesla has spread to Denmark. Danish dock workers are refusing to unload or transport Teslas in support of Swedish labor group. Like the chairman of the 3F union's transport division said, like the companies, the trade union movement is global in a fight to protect workers. Even if you are one of the richest people in the world, you can't just make your own rules, Willesen said in a statement on Tuesday. We have some agreement on labor market in the Nordic, and you have to comply with them if you want to do business here. What a bunch of BS. Yes, you all say you are here to protect the workers, but luckily you can't force the workers to join your little union club because less than 10% of Tesla's employees in Sweden wanted to join the union because they were already happy with the pay and the working condition. As Niklas also shared on X, the guaranteed pay from the union is 23,000 Swedish crowns a month, but Tesla pays its technicians 35,000 Swedish krona a month. So their argument is just nothing but hot air. So the only thing the union is really offering is pension? Are you kidding me? I know if I could choose between unions, little pension, or Tesla stock, as Tesla is offering to employees, I know what I want and what will be worth more in 10, 20 or 30 years. And a funny little fact, while 3F now striking against Tesla, they have earned a lot of money on their little pension, thanks to Tesla that is up 91% this year, and the company's pension, Pension Denmark, which has shares worth of 400 million Danish crowns in, you guessed it, Tesla. Oh boy, the hypocrites. But now they are apparently decided to sell some of the shares on Tesla, and they are instead prioritizing their investment in oil companies such as Shell, BP and Chevron. So not just hypocrites, they are also investing and betting on the polluters of the world. Great. So, you can just take your stupid little mafia and, yeah, well, as Elon puts it,
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
But how do you fight hate against a company like this? Well, you do that with success. Because on the same day, Tesla sent out a press release that Tesla is opening the new Tesla Center in Jönköping, which will increase the level of service significantly in the area. Yeah, you can't hold back Tesla and the transition to a sustainable energy future with your mafia methods. And let's get our monthly update about Tesla's Giga Factories. That means handing it over to the one, to the only, Brian White from My Tesla Weekend. Take it away, Brian.
Hey Lars, well we've got a whole lot to get through this week, so let's just do it. In Fremont, there's a new 4680 building just off site that has yet to be commissioned. At the site itself, well, the casting area where we thought we were going to see expansion, we have not. They paved over it for temporary parking, so it goes. In Shanghai, there have been some test Model 3s spotted out at the CATL factory. That's exciting. And to the south of the site, there's a big bridge, maybe, that's going in with a bunch of canal work. In Berlin, the 2 recycling buildings that we saw almost complete are now in use. The third one is almost complete. The fire station has been put into use, and just north of it, in the north central part of the site, there is a bunch of driveway clearing work going on. They're building something there. The bridge approach has been paved on the west side with filling on the east side, and the off-ramps and on-ramps around it have been addressed, paved, and they got their guardrails. In Texas, the staining has advanced to the north. The casting roof has turbines, vented turbine kind of blades that are whipping out the air in there. And at the south end, we've got steel, a lot of it. The south end steel has floor decking. It's got some glass already put up. The south wall has been closed off. There's been a lot more footings and perimeter grade beam work done, and it's all going very quickly. Over by the parking area, more footings have gone in, of course, and the concrete has gone up. 7 floors to be specific. The asphalt over at the test and recycling lab has been put in, and there's grading even farther than that to the north. The dye shop has paving around both buildings and between them, and there's been drainage work between them done as well. The old switchyard has been de-energized. The Megapack connections have not yet been established, but that's coming any day. To the far west, on the west side of the road, there is asphalt. There is trenching. There is parking conduit going in, and the end-of-line building is basically done. Superchargers are being added by this end-of-line building because, of course, they are. They need the capacity. It's exciting. Joe Tetmeyer gave us all the details. So the far west is the most exciting part, because over there they're doing more grading work, and even to the west of that, Farm to Market Road is expanding, and the site even farther off-site, in an area you didn't even realize was theirs, they're grading that as well. In Mexico, we've got news. Adrian CG has told us that permits have been submitted, and an area where an overpass will go to connect the two halves of the site have been identified, and they're going to begin work on that shortly. In Corpus Christi, we've got some great stuff, a lot more trailers, an extra small tent next to the big one. The land appears more graded, with lots of extra earthwork moving, and the detention pond is in use. They're finishing up the well system for rainwater and runoff, and they're using that water for dust control on site. More foundations going in next to that, tons of steel work next to that, catwalks are going up, it's all going great. And guys, if you love this stuff, show some love to all of the drone pilots that I listed above, and, do that. Back to you, Lars.
Thank you so much for that update, Brian. If you're not following Brian, what the hell are you doing? He has so much Tesla knowledge in that sticky brain of his. So head over to My Tesla Weekend on YouTube and give Brian a follow. He will brighten your day. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. Tesla shared on X new features in their holiday update. Yes, Tesla owner gets a holiday update, making their car better over the air. If you own an ID4, you will get, decrease in value. But we will get these features. Highly Fidelity Park Assist. See a 3D reconstruction of the surrounding while parking. So hopefully this means that the parking sensor issue that Tesla has been seeing, that their vision-based system was not as good as their parking sensor version. So hopefully this update could fix that. And then we got customer lock sound. Replace the horn lock sound of your vehicle with another sound like a screaming goat. And if you have a rear screen in your car, you can now play your favorite games on the rear screen. Much more importantly though, a rear passenger can now use wireless Bluetooth headphones when watching shows or playing games on the rear screen. That is a welcome feature that we heard from reviewers of the refreshed Model 3 mention that they would like. Well, here you go. Another nice feature is speed cameras en route now showing up in the navigation. So that is very cool. So on the map you will see the speed cameras, stop signs and traffic lights. Very nice. And you can now plan the whole trip on your app with multiple stops. And it does come with a lot more small updates, but these was just some of the best ones. And if we look at the EV sales in Australia in November, well, the trend continues. A Tesla Model Y is leading the way, and the top of the list is all Tesla and the Chinese. We will probably see this trend all over the world very soon. And more bad news for GM's Cruise, as they could face a fine for allegedly misleading regulators about an incident in which the car dragged a pedestrian, as I reported about at the time. And California Public Utility Commission said Cruise must show up at a hearing on February the 6th to show why the company should not be fined for making misleading public comments regarding interaction with the commission. So this would not be a big fine, so just a drop in the ocean for Cruise that is already losing billions of dollars, but still misleading regulators should not go unpunished. And another week, another dumb distraction from Toyota. And more claims of technology that will crush the EVs. Now they are showing off their new engine running on water. As Toyota CEO said, the new engine will destroy the entire EV industry. So you are saying you are not all in on EVs after all. What a surprise. The dawn of a new era in the automotive technology, Toyota's revolutionary water-powered engine. Well, it processes water to extract, you guessed it, hydrogen, which then power the engine. So just another version of their hydrogen engine that will never work for so many reasons that I have already made so many videos about. And at the same time, the Toyota Europe COO Harrison said, "We will have affordable EVs once demand rises." Should we tell him that the best-selling car in Europe is the Model Y, an EV? Toyota, you will get demand when you can make a compelling and competitive EV. That's all. So Toyota continues to say they have a breakthrough solid-state battery that will change the whole automotive industry, but at the same time they are making these hydrogen engines that will destroy their own solid-state battery EVs. Toyota is just all over the place and it's getting absolutely ridiculous. And Mary Barra was also out saying that General Motors' all-electric pledge hinge on customers' demand. Yes, and demand hinge on your ability to make a compelling and competitive EV. So we are still waiting on you to deliver the EV in high volume that people actually want to buy. But when you outsource your future roadmap to the masses, well, you're not leading, Mary. You're just following. But last week we talked about how GM was going to make a $10 billion buyback, and the stock soared at 9% because of that. But this week they are going to issue a $3 billion in debt. After they made their stock go up, that was very convenient. But this is just so far out. As Alexander, everyone's Tesla boomer mama, also wrote on X, a $10 billion share buyback, an increased dividend by GM, all the while issuing $3 billion in debt. You can't make this shit up, indeed. And don't forget, in the years leading up to GM's bankruptcy in 2008, GM made about $36 billion in buyback and dividend. If GM had kept some of those $30 billion, there is a good chance that they didn't have to file for bankruptcy in 2008 and the government had to bail them out. So you would expect GM had learned something from the bankruptcy and bailout, but GM is doing it yet again. Their debt is even higher today and have loaned even more money for their EV transition from the government, and instead of using these money to make the shift to EVs or getting some of their debt down or bolstering their war chest, they are doing the same thing all over again, giving all the money to its shareholders through buybacks and dividends. And don't forget, Mary Barra is GM's biggest shareholder. So taxpayers' money is straight into Mary's pocket. Yes, Mary's incentives do not align with getting more EVs on the road. All of this was explained and predicted by Connecting the Dot in his great video a couple of months back. So if you want to learn more about why Mary does as Mary do, well, check that video out, link down below. And we got the production number from Tesla China, where Tesla produced 82,432 China-made vehicles in November. In the January to November period, Tesla sold 853,603 China-made vehicles, up 30% from the same period last year. You know, from the factory that Mark B. Spiegel said was freaking meaningless. With 850,000 units sold, it doesn't seem so freaking meaningless now, does it, Mark? Olinet Lopez said it would probably never happen, and it needed to produce between 150 to 350,000 units to get a foothold in China, which will probably never happen. But now they produce 2.5 to 5.5 times as many units from that single factory. Yes, the comments from these two haters has aged very poorly. And if we turn our attention to the US, well, GM and Ford are slowing down their EV production because of lack of demand. Well, for the first time ever, the sales of BEVs has crossed the 1 million mark in a year in the US. And yes, we still have a month to go, but we have already over 1 million units sold as of November. And that is an increase of 50.7% year over year. So the BEV market is growing about 50% year over year. So I'm sorry, but I really don't see the slowdown in the BEVs. Well, if they expected 80%, well, then the demand is slowing down. But call me crazy. I think most companies would be quite happy if their market grew 50% year over year. And as you can see, some years they grow more and some years grow less. And yes, some years you can even see has been flat, but the overall trend is still up and looks more to me like it is speeding up, with one of the biggest months of the year still to go. And in the US, through the third quarter of 2023, Tesla's Model Y jumped to the second place in the new vehicle registrations in the US, overtaking Toyota's RAV4. And the refreshed Tesla Model 3 became the overall winner of Best Electric Car in CarWow's Car of the Year 2024. The Tesla Model 3 impressed with its overall package. The performance, range, charging technology and price are right here. As CarWow's Car of the Year, the Tesla Model 3 is a recommendation for anyone who wants to buy an electric car. And Tesla secured a massive 1.6 gigawatt-hour Megapack order for a giant project in Australia. That should make it one of the largest battery systems in the world, and the biggest order ever for Tesla's Megapacks. To deliver 1.6 gigawatt-hours of battery would mean about 410 Megapacks, so an order that is worth more than $535 million. Quite a nice single order to get for Tesla. And if you didn't already see, Matt from CarWow also made a drag race with the Lamborghini Urus against the Cybertruck and left the Lambo for dead. It still doesn't even make sense to call ICE cars performance cars anymore. What performance? And the $25,000 Tesla is already here. As Sawyer shared on X, he dived into all the incentive there is in the US, both a federal and state incentive, and some of them are of course income restricted, but still, these are the prices you can get a Tesla Model 3 for right now in the US, as low as $22,590. I mean, this is madness. I know cars are, in general, more expensive in my country of Denmark, but $22,000, that will get you a Dacia Spring here in Denmark. And if you don't know what a Dacia Spring is, it is this little crappy car that has 140 miles of range and can only charge with 30 kilowatts. Yes, I know. And does a 0 to 100 kilometers in 19 seconds. No, I didn't say 9 seconds. 19 seconds. Yeah, this is a piece of crap, and people that want one have to pay the equivalent of $22,000 that some of you guys living in the US can get a Tesla Model 3 for. Insane. And there has been quite the activity at the Tesla Diner construction site. Thanks to Todd for sharing these pictures with me. But as you can see, the diner is slowly taking shape. Going to be so cool. And to anyone that thought it wasn't real, Jim Farley just confirmed he received the How to Build a 48-volt architected car from Tesla and said, "Thanks, Elon, great for the industry." And Elon replied, "You're welcome." Yes, Jim is really open about the whole shift to EV and the struggle the legacy automakers are facing. A big contrast to Mary Barra that is acting like everything is just fine and Tesla can't teach them anything. I know which leader I would bet on to make it through to the other side. And with all the great feelings between Ford and Tesla, my bet is still on Ford being the one that will license Tesla's full self-driving software first. And we got some cool new features revealed in the Cybertruck shared by Nick on X. Cybertruck has a toggle for wade mode in the off-road bar settings where it says raises ride heights and pressurizes battery when driving through water. Ooh, this sounds like a cool feature. I hope someone will soon test this out and see if this is the boat mode Elon was talking about, that the Cybertruck would be able to briefly serve as a boat over small waters. Can't wait to learn more about it all. And we see the sad reality of hydrogen cars once again, as Cold Dead shared the sales numbers in Germany for November. As you can see, there was 44,942 BEV sold in Germany in November and 18,124 plug-in vehicles sold. And then there is this Brennstoffzelle, and yes, that is fuel cells. So in all of Germany, in all of November, there was 2 hydrogen cars sold. A market that BMW really wants to get in on, so if they can get like 50% of that market, they will be able to sell 1 hydrogen car a month. Seems like a really great business idea, BMW. Go for it. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest patrons and members of this new show. My new YouTube member, Steve Kran, Daniel Farrell, Guy Piheim, and Manuel Gruber. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun, because history repeats itself. First, the Model S was vaporware, then the Model Y was vaporware, and now the Cybertruck is just a showpiece. But before you listen to all the Tesla Qs hating hard on the Cybertruck, do yourself a favor and look at their track record. They have been completely wrong for more than a decade. When will they learn? Because here is a little chart from the Shorts historian on X that made this little chart about a Tesla Q's prediction from December 2018. The fanboys are so delusional in thinking that the Tesla Model 3 is going to be some kind of success in Europe or Asia. At best, new orders will save Tesla 1 quarter forward, but that is about it. The competitors are about to flood the market next year. So, who ended up being the delusional one? That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this video out a lot. And if you liked it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos and get me a little bit closer to that 100,000 subscribers. And if you want to become an executive producer and get news articles, early access, exclusive videos, access to all my research charts and spreadsheet, head over to bestintesla.com and join with the members button. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible, and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.